Hey everybody, my name is Zeus Luby, and I'm going to be doing my daughter's hair today. No particular style, freestyle, daddy freestyle.
So we're here with
Zeus.
and
Zada Luby,
and Zada. How old are you?
10 years old.
You're 10. Wow. And what are we doing today?
My daddy is doing my hair.
Does he do a good job?
Yes.
He does. Do you
Yes.
like when he does your hair?
Yes.
So what do you think he's gonna show us today?
I think today he's going to show us all the things he does to my hair, what he uses to do my hair, and stuff like that.
So you have friends at school you tell them about? And what do they say?
They say that their dad doesn't really do their hair as well as my dad does.
So
And they always ask me if my mom does my hair.
I see. So with that being said, Zeus, you being a single dad, and you're about to show us how to. What did you call it? What's the term for this hairstyle?
Oh, daddy freestyle, huh?
Okay. So we're about to daddy freestyle with Zeus and Zada TV
Yeah.
Cop today. Alrighty. So, Mr. Zeus, while you're doing your daughter's hair, I just want to ask you a few things. Is there a huge stereotype when it comes to men doing their daughter's hair?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, as you can imagine, most men and women alike, I mean, if you can do hair, well, then you're automatically labeled as, homosexual. But that's not the case. Not the case in all situations and in all scenarios, especially not when it comes to being a father. I learned how to do my daughter's hair out of necessity. You know, it took a lot of patience, it took a lot of time, it took a lot of effort and energy, but it's no different than a mother, than a woman who learns how to do her child's hair. Every woman is not born with an innate ability to do hair, contrary to what some people may think. They just have to keep trying, keep practicing, same way they did on their hair when they were young. The problem is most men, they just don't put forth the effort and the energy into learning how to do their daughter's hair.
So, what has been if you would say there is the hardest part about doing your daughter's hair, what would you say was the toughest part for you learning?
Just keeping the parts straight, between that and the patience and the time it takes to do my daughter's hair so it can look decent, not rushing through it so she won't leave the house looking crazy, putting forth my best effort. I mean, I wouldn't want to leave the house looking crazy, so I make sure that my daughter doesn't leave the house looking crazy either, and I think that's where a good number of parents fall short. They put a lot of effort into themselves and their own appearance, and they kind of just throw whatever on their kids, do whatever to their children's hair. It doesn't really matter to them. But you should take pride in your child and their parents, their representation of you, and how they're cared for is a representation of your parenting. So I always make sure my daughter looks proper, and the patience and the parts, that was the most difficult area.
What are you doing to her hair now?
I am moisturizing her scalp. You have to make sure that you moisturize their scalps when you do their hair, especially with the tension, from parting the hair. If the tension is consistent and the scalp is dry, It can cause dandruff, a lot of itching, scratching, tension bumps, so forth and so on. So I don't want my daughter to be uncomfortable on a daily basis.
Now, was this something that you learned through the process of doing her hair? Or did you read about it? I mean, because a lot of people don't know, what causes things like dandruff or the tension bumps and things like that. So how did you come to know that I need to moisturize my child's hair so in order for this not to happen?
Just through, personal research and even taking care of my own hair, growing up. I put a lot of effort and time into making sure that my hair and my scalp was healthy when I was younger. And I just kind of built on that foundation when it came to my daughter to make sure that she was being properly taken care of.
What is there a particular product that you would suggest? What is that you're using now?
This is actually Kids Organics, Africa's Best.
Is that the only product that you use, or do you recommend anything else, or is that like your favorite?
Well, this works best with my daughter's particular grade of hair.
Okay.
It took me some time, some years to figure out what was best for her. Some things will leave your child's hair very greasy, hard to manage, hard to work with. So through a process of elimination, you go from product to product. Make sure you're not damaging your child's hair and you're giving your child's hair what it needs. So this is what I come to find works best. So I'll stick with it.
Okay. And just along that lines with you saying what works best, I know that you also are a fitness trainer, correct?
Yeah.
And where you actually own your own company.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, do you think that the way that we eat and things like that also affects how our hair, things like that?
Yeah, definitely. Your diet affects every part of your body, hair included, how dry it may be, how brittle it may be, the moisture levels, so forth and so on. I mean, and even taking care of hair, if you want to go a more natural route, you don't necessarily have to, buy any products if you don't want. You can do your research and you can use food items in your hair or your child's hair to take care of it properly, to nourish it, moisturize it. That's always an option, So, food and diet has a huge role in the health or lack thereof in one's hair.
So how was your daughter's diet? How was that for her, going to school every day? How does she, eat the school lunches or?
No, it's a well-known fact that most schools don't really put enough time and energy and focus into the diets of the school lunches. It leaves a lot to be desired. And when my daughter, her first year of school, first day, I went up to her school. I spoke to her teacher. It was lunchtime. And I asked her teacher, I said, what do you think about the school lunch? Is it good? Is it bad? And she said, well, I wouldn't feed it to my kids, to keep it simple. She couldn't necessarily badmouth the school lunch because she worked there, but she made it abundantly clear that, the menu, it wasn't where it should be. So from that day forth, I made sure that I made my daughter's lunches every day moving forward. And she's in fourth grade now, and she doesn't go a day without a lunch made at home, whether it be chicken breast, fish, carrots, apples, low fat, low sodium pretzels, so forth and so on.
So, since you've been doing this, how long have you had custody of your daughter?
Custody case started in 2008, ended in 2010. The 4th of April, actually, is when I got the final decision and won custody.
Oh, so you guys have an anniversary coming up soon.
We do.
Oh,
And
so 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
So how has that been?
I mean, it's been, I mean, the day that it happened, it was surreal. I mean, that was the happiest day of my life, second only to the day she was born. You know, major relief. It was amazing. But as far as being a single father, raising her by myself, it's definitely a heavy, heavy learning curve, and I'm still learning on a daily basis. Something new, trying to become a better father as the days pass. But it's been hugely rewarding because Zada is a phenomenal child. Very bright, funny, playful. I mean, she's, she's my daughter, but she's like a best friend to me. We talk, we play, we spend a lot of time together. We have a very tight relationship, great communication. So it's been extremely rewarding. I wouldn't change things.
And I see as you speak about your daughter, she smiles. So, is there anything that you want to say about your dad? What is something wonderful about him?
Well, to me, my daddy is like my hero. And I feel like without my dad, I wouldn't be here right now. I love my daddy.
Love you too, baby.
So that's a really good thing that you guys have the closeness even through that rough time of a custody battle. And you see, or well, I can't say you see, but you do hear a lot about single dads. You don't get to see them often.
Right.
But you see a lot more of moms struggling. Do you have any words of encouragement for those dads who are out there that we don't see or who want to play a bigger role in their child's life?
Yeah, definitely. I a lot of times, many of the laws in many of the states are heavily bent in favor of the mothers, and for good reason. Many of our predecessors, male predecessors, have just abused their position as fathers. They've neglected the mothers, the children over the years, and so the laws have been bent in the mother's favor to protect them. But a lot of mothers have begun to use the law they've abused it, use it to their benefit, to be spiteful, to be vindictive or malicious. So, some men out there deserve that. But there are a lot of men out here, and the numbers are rising, as you mentioned, that really are decent fathers, decent men, and they want to be an active part of their children's lives. And many of the women, not all, but there are a lot of women that make it difficult, because things didn't work out in a relationship. They may have their personal issues. Now, I'm not talking about men that were formerly abusive or anything like that, but whatever personal issues you have with that man, they shouldn't let it spill over and affect the child, because if the man is a good father or a good man, he should be allowed to be in his child's life. So a lot of guys get discouraged. They feel like they're fighting an uphill battle, and in a lot of cases they are. I mean, I went through the same thing. In my custody case, I was fighting an uphill battle. I mean, the entire system was bent against me. When I started my case, they viewed me and treated me like a regular no good, good for nothing father. And I just had to stick to my guns, stay determined. I kept fighting. I refused to give up, on my baby girl. And over time, they began to see that I wasn't a problem, that I really, truly cared about my daughter and I wanted what was best for her. So, what I can say to those fathers is stay determined. Let your child be your focus. Let your child be your fuel, your motivation. Let your love for your child increase many times over and let it fuel you to continue fighting. I exhausted all my funds and finances fighting the custody case. And I let everybody know I was willing to fight until my last dime was spent, until my last bit of energy was spent as well. And I just kept fighting, kept fighting, kept fighting. And I was blessed with, a victory. So you just have to stay determined. Don't let anything deter you from fighting for your child.
Okay, so what are some of the cool things that you and your dad have done since?
Well, sometimes we go watch movies together, and sometimes he takes me to the mall and we might look around and look at some clothes, and then he might buy me some shoes, stuff like that. And sometimes we even go out to eat together sometimes.
You like that? So what is the coolest part about having a dad like yours?
Well, the coolest part is that he was brave enough to save me from my mom. Because I can see that he's braver than most dads. And not just because I've heard of it, because some of my friends are dealing with some stuff like that too. Raven, my friend Raven, she's away from her dad. And she's with her mom. So I think she knows how it feels too.
She would like to see her dad?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing that you do have a dad that is protective like yours and that you think so highly of. So I see he has a S on his chest for Superman.
Yes.
Would you say he was
like
Superman? So he's your Superman? So that's why you say he's your hero?
Yes.
All right, that's good. So, Zeus, what are some of the things that, because I think you said once before that you counsel?
Life coach.
Life coach, okay.
Yeah, a
Can
life
you tell
coach.
us a little bit about that?
Yeah, a life coach and a mentor. Something that I've always done coming up. Back in high school, my nickname was Gramps, Grandpa. Everybody said that I kind of thought and functioned like an old man, but I took it as a major compliment. Whenever our peers would have issues or complications, things that they were dealing with that were pretty heavy, they would send them to me, because they said that I gave good advice, and it just kind of blossomed from there. Um, it really picked up momentum after my custody case, because once my custody case was over with in 2010, I started an organization called Fighting for Fathers to help men, help teach them how to navigate through the legal system, because I had such a hard time. I didn't have anybody to guide me, because nobody I knew or was connected with, knew what I was going through, because nobody had fought for their children the way I was fighting for Zada. So I just had to learn, I suffered a lot of pitfalls, you know, um, and I definitely could have used some guidance. I mean, things were really tough. So I wanted to be that person that another father, another male could lean on, when he went through a similar situation, and pass along my knowledge and information. And beyond that, I started teaching men the importance of their role in society, in the community, the importance of their role in their children's lives. A lot of men, they take the attitude of, hey, my daughter, my son, they'll be all right. They have their mom. They're good. They'll be okay. So they leave. They go pursue their dreams, or just go start another family, do whatever. Live life. And that's definitely not the way to handle it. A child needs both their parents. That is the best way for the situation to be. That there's a certain amount of balance that is there that keeps that child grounded. So that is the basis of what I do. I'm trying to help people become better. I also, I life coach people of all ages, from all walks of life, all religious backgrounds, ethnicities, so forth and so on. Whatever issue a person may have, relationship, marital, spiritual, so forth and so on. I try to help them all across the board. There's nothing that we can't talk about. There's nothing that's, off the board. And I do that on a daily basis. I don't, I give my time to people, whether it's 12 in the morning, 1 in the morning, 3 in the morning, late at night, whatever the case may be. You can't put people's issues and problems on the schedule. So I try to make myself as available as possible, while, juggling the things that I have to deal with. People need help.
What would you say to, I mean, it is what it is when you say this, but I hate the term sometimes, the dislike, I should say. But what would you say to these deadbeat dads?
Well, honestly, that I've always had an issue, a problem with men that don't take care of their responsibilities. Honestly, I can't even call them men. If you're not taking care of your responsibilities, a child that you created, whether you planned it or, it might be with somebody that you dislike or you can't stand or whatever the case may be, but none of that should be the most important thing on your mind. That shouldn't trump the importance of being there for that child. You can raise a child, from a distance if need be. You don't have to be with the person. So for men, not men, those males that don't take care of their children, I have no respect whatsoever for them. No respect whatsoever. There are plenty of people that they go through life and they wonder, what's my purpose? What am I here for? What am I living for? And if you have not found your purpose, you haven't created any purpose in your life. Once you have a child, that child becomes your greatest purpose. Nurturing that child, giving that child what that child needs, helping them acclimate to society, instilling all the positive things you have in yourself and all the things that you didn't have, into them. That's your greatest purpose. That's really something to live for. It's nothing greater on this planet than a child that will soon be an adult. So for the individuals that don't take care of the kids, like I said, I don't have respect for them. If you do everything in your power to try to take care of your child and you're just wrestling with a very difficult person and they run from you and they hide and they do everything they can to keep you away from your child and you are left with no option whatsoever, okay. But most times that's not the case. You get the same old excuses. Well, my baby's mom is crazy. Or, my son's mother, my daughter's mother just won't let me see my child. You're not fighting hard enough. You're not trying hard enough. That's when you put all the childish games to rest and you accelerate your maturity, as I had to do. I told my daughter's mother, I'm not ready in any way, shape, form, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but I will do whatever I can to make sure I do my very best to take care of my responsibilities, period. And that's not the mindset that a lot of men take. They're lazy, they're selfish. That's the main thing. They're selfish. They think more about their own desires and needs than they do about their child's desires and needs. So And to these fathers out here who only see their kids, what, 1 weekend out the month, 2 weekends out the month. Even if you see your child every weekend, that's 8 days out of 30, 8 days out of 31. You know, that's not a full-time father. I mean, that's more like a family friend. You know, you got neighbors that see your kids more than you do. That's ridiculous. And people run around. Yeah, I take care of my kids. I see my kids all the time. 8 days out the week. That's all the time in your mind. Oh, okay, I got you. So I have no respect. I have no respect unless you give it your all and you really run into a brick wall. Other than that, I mean, there is no excuse. You know what I mean?
So as we see that we can't say that there are no good men out there because we're proving that there are some good men out there. So that lets you know that there's some not so great women out there.
Yeah.
What would you say raising a daughter of your own now by yourself? Well, of course, with some family around, but just you being a male raising a female and seeing how some women treat their children. What do you have to say to those individuals?
Well, I mean, for the women that don't take care of their kids, I mean, women, as a gender wise, women have been through a lot. They've endured a lot, over time, and on every continent, every culture, So I have a lot of sympathy for women. I advocate women's rights, in many ways, And for the people that know me, they know that about me, But when it comes to children, I mean, it's not taking care of your child is, again, there's no excuse. Now, I kept thinking, when I finally came to the realization, the harsh reality that I wasn't going to be able to see my daughter every day, wake up to her every morning, go to sleep with her, every night, back when myself and her mother really had to separate. I mean, it really broke me. I mean, it rocked me to my core, and it took me a while to adjust to. I mean, it was difficult. It was extremely difficult for me to swallow that. And I couldn't imagine going an extended period of time without seeing my daughter. I just couldn't fathom it. I was so connected to her. You know, the longest I went without seeing my baby girl was 2 months, and that's when her mother took her from me and refused to let me see her or speak to her for 2 months. I mean, I nearly went crazy. I barely slept, barely ate. You know, I was just, it was too much for me. I don't see how people do it. So, me being a father, okay, feeling that, I can only imagine how it feel if I actually carried her. I could only imagine that my feelings would be intensified. So, for a mother that carries this child inside them for 9 months, you know, and gives birth to this child, and they have an automatic connection because they've been connected for nearly a year prior to that, to just not take care of your child, walk away, I can't even fathom it. That's near an abomination in my mind. I can't understand it for the life of me. I can't. You know, that's my perspective.
Now, I know that, like we talked about earlier, and I commend you for doing such an awesome job of sharing with us about your experience with being a single dad, and even showing us how to do your daughter's hair. Um, One of the I think the greatest joys of uh, being a parent, and I'm not one, but I know I'm a daddy's girl. So, Zada, would you say that you are truly a daddy's girl?
Yes.
You would? What are some of the things, Zeus, that you've experienced being a single dad? What are some of the struggles, I guess you could say, of you being, especially with raising a little girl?
Well, a lot of the struggles are no different than a single mother. You know, um, that's my perception. I am well aware of a lot of my, you know, friends and associates who are fathers. They have more of a traditional approach to fatherhood. They have an awkwardness to them when it comes to kids in general, but especially girls. You know, but I don't share that. I don't share that awkwardness. You know, so it's less less problematic. You know, we talk about boys. You know, we talked about the birds and the bees. We talked about, her, that time of the month, her impending cycle, and all of that not good stuff. You know, so I approach things openly. I work to keep the lines of communication open, between us. So that cuts down on a lot of complications and issues. You know, there's no, I know a lot of fathers that they're so awkward with their daughters, they raise them like boys because they don't know any other way, or they feel like they can't do anything different, So we don't have that issue, which I'm thankful for. Um, I do get, a lot of times it's assumed that I'm just babysitting my daughter. Oh, I just have her for a short period of time, you know. When do I give her back? How long do you have her? So forth and so on. Just natural assumptions and so forth. But, once they find out what the reality is, they're always pleasantly surprised, So the struggles that I have as far as time management and, you know, having to get home by a certain time, get her ready for bed, get her lunch ready, iron clothes, wash clothes, so she can have proper outfits for the week, proper events, church, athletics, so forth and so on. Common single parent issues, just not enough time in the day. You know, when the sun goes down and it's time for bed, I'm ready for bed. You know?
So, how does your life coaching and you owning your own company, how do you manage that also? Because it seems like the life coaching takes up some of your time. So, how does that play a part with Zada? How does that? How do you manage that?
I do my best to give Zeta as much of my time as I can. I don't think there will ever be a point where I can say I spend as much time with my daughter as I want to. If it was up to me, I'd have enough residual income where I could just, blow the entire day with her. Go up there to school and hang around there and go to the park, do fun things every day. But I do have to split my time up between working, making sure the bills are paid with my company, training my clients, and tending to other people's needs with the life coaching. And, I'll spend as much time as I can with Zay after I'm done taking care of my clients. And once I get her, to bed, I address my life coaching responsibilities as I can. And a lot of times I miss out on a lot of sleep because I'm answering emails, I'm responding to text messages, I'm making calls and, talking to people, talking people through their issues, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long it takes, I don't put people on the timer and say, hey, listen, your time is up, we got to get off this phone. We talk until we see light at the end of the tunnel, you know. So I juggle as much as I can. What takes the hardest hit is my sleep, and luckily, I've always been an old soul, so I'm not one for doing a lot of partying.
How do people really see you? Do they see you as he's pretending, or he's like this really wonderful person? Like how do people perceive you?
Well, the people that know me, they, from their words, they perceive me as a very genuine person, a selfless individual, kind-hearted. I can be very intense. From what they say. Which I'll definitely concede to that. I'm a heavy protector, very protective of the people that are in my circle that I care about. So people have a fairly high opinion about me. I'm very honest, blunt. I don't pull punches. I tell people what I really think. I don't think that you can really help people, friends, family, companions, if you lie to them, about their shortcomings and so forth. And I expect people to be honest with me about my shortcomings as well. I'm always open to criticism. So people see me as very genuine. For those who don't know me, who just see what I may post on my page or hear about me, for a lot of people, until they meet me, until they get to know me, a lot of people find who I am hard to believe. They find that he's not really like that. He might be putting on a show front, so forth and so on. Because and once they finally get to know me, I like to find out what people initially thought about me. It's the funniest thing. A lot of misperceptions. Muscular, unintelligent, stuck up, self-absorbed, so forth and so on. You know, um, one of my newest clients, um, she was somebody that I was connected to through my family, a family friend, and she's a very spiritual, very religious person, and she called me to get some advice about fitness and wellness and such. And it went a lot deeper than that. It became very spiritual um, and very profound. And when the conversation was over with, she was saying, I had no idea you were this spiritual. I had no idea you were this deep. I mean, it caught me completely off guard. That's the kind of thing that I like to hear. I like to shatter people's unbalanced, biased, stereotypical perceptions of me. But um, I am trying to not duplicate myself, not replicate myself, so to speak, but replicate my perspective on things, on society, on children, on women, so people can be more selfless, you know, more considerate of others, from strangers to people that they care about and love. So, you know, when people have a negative perception of me, it doesn't bother me. It's fine. I like for them to get to know me, and then they see that they were completely wrong. They were completely off base. And from what they tell me, it's I'm I'm different. I'm not like everybody else. I'm not common. My there's nothing new under the sun. No attribute about anybody is new. It's all about the combination of attributes one has that makes them unique. So being a single father, trying to be healthy, well, taking care of myself internally and externally, trying to be strong mentally, emotionally, trying to be a decent person, trying to be respectful, considerate, and kind and compassionate and selfless, you know, and successful, that's something that a package that it seems to be difficult to find, so I would like as many people as possible to come aboard. You can have money and success and still maintain good character. You know, you can be a good father without being soft and whatever the case may be. You can still be masculine and do your daughter's hair, still be masculine and tell your child you love them, hug your child, spend time with your child, kiss your child, and trying to break down these machismo, unnecessary, antiquated ideas of what a real man is.
Looks like you're almost done.
Just about.
Zada's hair. I've been listening to you, and I've truly enjoyed everything that you've said. I forgot you were doing her hair, so and just Mr. Zada. So let me ask you one question. Is there something about your dad that people may not know? Like, there's something interesting about him that he does outside of fitness and life coaching and being your dad and doing your hair and cooking?
Well, I don't think a lot of people knows that he does stuff like this.
You don't do things like this. Is there anything else that he does besides?
Well, not that I know of. There might be stuff that he does that I don't know about and other people don't know about.
Does he have any cool talents or anything? Like, what are some of the things that you know about that he can do?
Well, I know he's a really good actor.
Ah, okay.
And
So he acts. So what are some? Do you know anything that he's been in? Have you seen it or have you heard about it?
I've heard about a movie called Three Girls
Okay.
that he was in.
All right.
Oh, free promotion.
What? Anything else? Is he still acting or is he just life coaching, fitness, and
He's
doing
still
your
acting.
hair? He's still acting. Do you know what he's doing now? Know anything?
Yes. Matter of fact, I do.
What is it?
He is doing Vampire Diaries.
Oh, is he a vampire?
Yes, no.
Well, we'll have to find out later on that and figure out what actually is. So that's really cool. So you have a dad of many talents, right?
Yes.
What are some talents you have?
Well, I believe I can sing. Sometimes I might dance. Actually, I used to dance. I used to show people dance moves I made up. And I used to show my dad and my grandma Tootie and my auntie Stephanie and my uncle songs that we made up. I used to make up these little concerts when my cousins came over. Yeah.
So you're very talented too.
Yes. And I'm actually going to be in a talent show at my school today. Well, not today, but on the 21st.
On the 21st. Oh, very good. Wow. So what is that talent show? What are you doing for your talent? Do you know?
Well, I'm working with a friend, and we're going to sing.
Ah, okay. Well, we'll have to just hear about that a little later. It looks like Dad is about done with your hair. That is really cool to have your own personal hairstylist.
Yes.
That is really good.